Hello everyone, welcome or of course welcome back here to my YouTube channel. If you are new, hello, my name is Joelle and I'm a full-time reseller on lots of platforms, but Poshmark and Whatnot are my main ones. And today I have a what sold video to share with you all for the last 2 weeks. If you are new to my channel, I don't go over every single sale because some sales really just aren't worth highlighting, whether it was a rough sale in terms of profit or if it was a bread and butter item that maybe sat for a while. So I will not highlight every single sale, but I will talk about my best, worst, and quickest sales. And unfortunately for eBay, Depop, and Mercari, those are my other platforms that I sell on. I have neglected them for the past couple of weeks. I do have one Mercari sale, and it was just this plain old navy dress. That one sold for $12, so I will just show you all the screenshot and my profit. It's really not worth highlighting, but I do have some really great sales to share with you all. Definitely make sure that you are listing those spring and summer items because people are on the lookout for those pieces. Before I start with the sales, I want to apologize if I do sound congested. I feel like a couple of weeks ago, I also had to apologize for that. Now, instead of a cold, it is allergies. And with my allergies, I can usually get through the day and it's completely fine. It's like just another little cold. But there are some days where I just want to lay in bed and cry all day. Today was one of those days, but it is the only day that I have to record this YouTube video. I am completely fine with it. I'm pushing through and staying hydrated. So we're going to get through this video, hopefully with not a lot of edits. So I do have my notes right here. So hopefully I will not have to take a lot of breaks. But for now, we're going to get into my best sales of the last 2 weeks. We're starting off with a bang because my first sale sold on Poshmark. So for $115 on an offer sent by the buyer, I sold this Shoshana Annalise floral midi dress. Shoshana was a new to me brand, but it was one of those brands that when I saw the tag at the thrift store, it seemed like something that could be a higher end piece. I was pleasantly surprised to see the retail value of this dress, but on the other hand, it was listed for a couple of months at $150. That felt like it could be a little too high, but I did consider dropping it because it was a pretty good listing in terms of keywords. I had measurements and Shoshana is definitely a BOLO brand, so I felt like $150 might have been too high. However, I was really happy to see a $115 offer, especially because my initial offer sent to new likers was $120 in discounted shipping. So of course I would accept a $115 offer, especially because I only paid $349 for this dress. And a little note that I added here is that wedding guest season has arrived, so make sure you are getting your dresses listed. I know that when I walk into the thrift store, the dress section is now the first section that I go to because dresses seem to be flying out of my closet. But for this Shoshana dress, after fees and cost of goods, I profited $88.51. And this dress ended up selling after about 2 months of listing. All right, next up, we have a Whatnot sale. This is very rare to be considered one of my best sales because my Whatnot sales are almost always lower than what I would sell things for on Poshmark. But of course, one of the biggest perks of Whatnot is that you can make a high volume amount of sales in a shorter amount of time. Of course, I am okay with selling stuff for a lower price than I would on Poshmark or other platforms. But for these sunglasses, they sold during a pretty big show. I was a part of a raid train. So for $45 on Whatnot, I sold these new with tags Kate Spade Emmeline Aviator sunglasses. And these I actually got in a FabFitFun box. So I will use this as a little subtle promotion. For just $51 and some change, I got 6 new items sent to my door from FabFitFun. I did use a 20% off discount code, but this was a seasonal box, and one of the biggest items that I got were these Kate Spade sunglasses, and they ended up paying for over half of my box. So of course, if you want to get 20% off on your seasonal box, please feel free to use the link below. I do have that same discount code for 20% off. We do both benefit from that link, so of course I would appreciate it if you use it, but I will say that this is a box that is really worth it for personal use, or even if you're a reseller. Just make sure to check comps when you're picking items. But obviously these Kate Spade sunglasses were a good pickup. These also sold fairly quick within just a couple of weeks of listing them on Poshmark. On Poshmark, they didn't get a lot of attention, so that was another reason why I thought that it would be a good sale on Whatnot. My cost of goods was $851. For the cost of goods, I just divided my $51 divided by 6 and came out with that cost of goods. And after fees and cost of goods, I profited $31.01. And I will say that I would consider these sunglasses a BOLO across the board on all platforms because on Poshmark, the comps were still pretty decent. And of course, on Whatnot, they sold for $45. So overall, I think it was a great pickup. If you are considering FabFitFun, I would definitely encourage you, if you are a reseller, to get these Kate Spade glasses in your box. All right, I feel like I already have to take some breaks between these sales, but next up, I have this J. Crew Cloud Stretch sports dress, and this sold on Poshmark for $32 plus discounted shipping on an offer sent by myself. This was a retail arbitrage find, and I actually picked it up on J. Crew's website when they were having a clearance sale. I picked it up for multiple reasons. One was the low cost of goods, which I don't have here, but I will put on the screen. And the second reason was that when I picked this up, I saw that exercise dresses were a huge trend. They're definitely still trending here into the spring season. And although this dress did take a few months to sell, I would still pick it up again if I saw it at the thrift store. And I would honestly pay up for it at a retail arbitrage location. And that is precisely because of what I just said. Exercise dresses are definitely a good pickup. I am always on the lookout for them in my activewear section at the thrift stores, whether it is a brand like J. Crew, a higher end brand like Lululemon, or just a good bread and butter activewear brand. So since I don't have my cost of goods here in my notes, this seems to be a pattern in all of my what sold videos. I usually forget a couple of items. I don't have my profit, but with that shipping discount and my cost of goods at the retail arbitrage spot, I know I didn't profit a lot, but like I said, with this being such a big trend, I would definitely pick up this dress again if I saw it at the thrift store or on sale on J. Crew's website. Next up, I have one of my favorite bread and butter brands to sell, and it's definitely a brand that has a lot of mixed reviews. But for $21 on an offer sent by the buyer, I sold this Ann Taylor Loft black pleated skater dress. This was a $25 listing, so I put in my notes that I've been getting lots of reasonable offers lately, and of course I can't complain. This was less than 20% off, and this particular dress sat in my unlisted inventory for way too long. I want to say that I got it over the summer, and it mostly sat because there was a minor flaw that I spotted after I sourced it. There was just a little flaw in the stitching, but thankfully it wasn't a hole. But this ended up selling within just a month or so after I finally ended up listing it. So let this be your sign to conquer that unlisted inventory, because it is literally money lying around. Like I said, Loft has a lot of mixed reviews, and I definitely understand why people don't want to pick it up, but I would recommend checking comps on things that you find, and definitely make sure to check that care tag, because with this brand, along with brands like J. Crew and Madewell, you can see when the item was manufactured. So I always make sure to pick up only modern Loft pieces. And when I look through my sold items for this brand, I pretty much only pick up blazers, jackets, and dresses, and I am very happy with all of the sales that I've gotten. So this one cost me just 98 cents, and after fees and cost of goods, I made a quick $15.82 for this Loft dress. Next up on Poshmark, I have this TC Firm Control high-waist boy short shapewear, and this was new with tags and sold for $15 in discounted shipping. I don't have a lot of personal experience selling shapewear, but I will say brands like Skims and Spanx are going to be the best brands that you can pick up, but definitely make sure to run comps on other shapewear brands, because I will say that this brand had a lot of great comps. But like I said, these were brand new with tags, and it actually was from my personal closet. I ended up just not needing to wear it, and I want to say that it retailed for around 60 or 70 bucks. So of course I knew that it would do well on Poshmark after checking those comps, and after fees and cost of goods, I profited $9.98. So I know that I didn't profit a lot, but I still put this in my best Poshmark sales, because this particular piece got a lot of attention on Poshmark and eBay, and because it was from my own closet, I was personally okay with letting go of it for a lower price. But if I did pick this up in the thrift store, especially with the tags attached, I would probably sell this for no less than 20 bucks. So I do think that it is a really good pickup. And if you want to source shapewear, I would definitely recommend looking up comps. It's definitely something that I am going to start doing when I go to the thrift store. All right, we have gone over my best sales of the past 2 weeks. Now we're on to the really fun part, which is my worst sales. So when I talk about worst sales, these are usually things that I would not pick up again if I were at the thrift store. So I really want to just make sure I get this information out there so that you all watching know what not to pick up at the thrift store, so you don't make the same mistake that I did. First up, I have this BDG denim mini skirt. BDG is sold at Urban Outfitters, and it is a brand that I like picking up, but denim skirts in particular is something that I never like picking up. unless it is a really high-end brand. Unfortunately, this was listed for almost 2 years. So I picked this up way back in the day when I was a little baby reseller. I've been seriously reselling for about 2 years at this point. So back then I just didn't know a lot about brands and certain items that just didn't sell well. So I put my notes here that I hate denim skirts. That is very simple. It is something that I stand by. That is definitely a strong opinion of mine, but almost every denim skirt that I have sold has either sold for a low price or it has sat for a while, or both, like this one. Thankfully, my cost of goods was just $1.20, and this was an offer sent by the buyer. I would have honestly accepted any offer on the skirt, even if I would have lost a couple dollars, just because I wanted to get it out of my inventory. But it was a $25 listing, so I thought that was a pretty reasonable offer at $10 off. And after fees and cost of goods, I profited $10.80 for this denim skirt. Next up, we have a very low profit sale. For $12 and discounted shipping, I sold this Buy Together collection color block sweater. I will say that I thought that this was a really cute sweater and I was hoping that it would have sold a little quicker, but like that skirt, this was listed for a long time at about 1.5 years. If you don't know, this is a Francesca's brand. I do have some luck with a lot of brands that are sold at Francesca's, but honestly, I paid way too much for this at $4.98 because I originally bought it back when I had an Instagram thrift page. I am still on Instagram on that same account. It's Closet by Joelle if you want to follow me, and I think it is linked below. But I used to sell items on Instagram. It really wasn't good for my business because I was trying to focus a lot on Poshmark and other online platforms, along with having this Instagram thrift page where I would do usually weekly drops. It was just way too much time and I wasn't making a lot of money with it. So I ended up only doing that for about 6 months. I want to say about 1 year ago, I probably ended it, but I was stuck with a lot of inventory that I honestly just paid way too much for because on Instagram, people have very successful pages. And I've noticed that a lot of people on Instagram look for style rather than the brand. So I would not pick this up at $4.98 if I were only sourcing it for Poshmark, but I thought it was a really cute style, so that's why I picked it up on Instagram. So then I was stuck with something that I paid way too much for and that I was trying to sell on Poshmark. Fortunately, I made a couple bucks, so that was my win for this sale because after fees and cost of goods, I profited $2.05. Of course, I would never pick this up again. Maybe at the bins, but I would probably just take it straight to Plato's Closet. Overall, I'm a very stubborn person and I don't like donating clothes and losing that little money that I had invested into it. It wasn't taking up a lot of space, so I was very happy with my $2.05. Next up, we have an item that ended up being a pretty decent sale, but it's something that I would not pick up again, mostly because of the brand. So for $21 in discounted shipping, I sold these Chico's So Slimming Bridget tassel pants, and these particular pants were listed for about 1 year with not a lot of attention on all of my platforms. I know that Chico's can be a good brand for some people, and I personally would still pick it up if I found it cheap enough and most likely with the tags attached, but these pants just simply sat for too long. Thankfully, I only paid 98 cents for them way back in the day about 1 year ago. I really picked them up because they were so cheap, and that is something that I have since ditched in my reseller business. I don't just pick things up because they're cheap. With that being said, I would not pick up these Chico's pants even if I saw them at 98 cents because I know that they wouldn't sell well on Whatnot, and of course they did not sell well on Poshmark, so it's really not worth my time or energy. But thankfully, like I said, it wasn't that bad of a sale profit-wise because after fees and cost of goods, I made $13.80 for these Chico's pants. All right, now we're on to the final segment of this What Sold video. I will say that this is a fairly short What Sold video for 2 reasons. The first one is that I have neglected eBay, Depop, and Mercari for the past couple of weeks because I have been focusing a lot on Whatnot. I really need to find a balance as a full-time reseller for all of my platforms. Of course, I'm going to put my most energy into Poshmark because it is my best performing platform. And with Whatnot, I see the potential in live selling, so I want to keep investing into that. But I also see so much potential in eBay, Depop, and Mercari. So I want to make sure that I am investing more time into those platforms too. All right, I have to say this is very random, but I thought that I had recorded my whole video, but it ended up cutting off because my storage was full. So that kind of sucks. Thankfully, I almost made it through the whole video. So I watched the end and I was talking about reasons why I think I wasn't focusing on other platforms. We're just gonna get right into the quickest sales instead because I'm almost done with this video. So first up, we have this full price sale for $40 on Poshmark. After just 12 hours of listing, I sold these Sperry topsider boat shoes. These were actually gifted to me from my dad literally a couple of days ago. So they ended up selling so quick. I hardly put any effort into the listing in general, and I hadn't even cross-listed it yet. So that is my favorite type of sale when it comes to selling things on Poshmark. I always start with Poshmark and then I upload the listings to Vendu and then I end up cross-listing them. So if I can avoid all of that, I love to just get a quick flip on Poshmark, even if I sell something for less than I would expect. But of course, I was really happy with this sale because it sold not only really quick, but for full price. So since they were gifted to me from my dad, he actually ended up giving me a few pairs of shoes to sell, and I was so thankful. My parents are always giving me stuff to sell when they clean out their closet, and I will always take stuff for free, no matter what the comps are. As long as it is something that is not damaged, I am going to list it up for sale because I love accepting free inventory. So with my zero cost of goods and after Poshmark's fees, I ended up profiting $32 for these Sperry's, and it was a really quick flip. So again, I was so happy with that sale. Next up, we have another men's item for 30% off discounted shipping at $18. I sold these Fila Sport navy blue golf shorts. These were new with tags. I want to say they retailed for around $40 to $50, and they were from my most recent ThredUp men's rescue box. If you have not seen that video, this was my video that I uploaded last week, and I do have it linked below. If you are considering ordering a rescue box from ThredUp, I would highly recommend the men's rescue box. I do have an entire playlist with all of my videos unboxing ThredUp rescue boxes, and the men's one is by far not only my favorite, but my most successful box. So these new attack shorts sold within just a few days of listing, and my cost of goods was $3.91. So I knew for a pair of $40 or $50 shorts that I wouldn't make a ton of profit, especially because you can find Fila at places like Kohl's or TJ Maxx. But for the quick turnaround, I really did not care what my profit was as long as I was making money. So after fees and cost of goods, I made a quick $8.47 for these new with tags Fila shorts. All right, for the last sale, I apologize that I kind of zoomed through these last few sales, but after my storage cut the video off, I just really wanted to get through this video because I just need to drink some water and go to bed. It's like 10:30 at this point, so I'm hoping to get through this sale, but make sure that I provide enough value to you all too. But for $21 on Whatnot, I sold this Badgley Mishka quilted faux leather crossbody bag. This was also new with tags, and I purchased it at TJ Maxx, so I did pay up for it a little bit at $7.99. But I put here in my notes that I purchased it to give one purse away on Whatnot. I did buy 2 of these same purses. I gave it away for my Whatnot 2K follower celebration, and then the other one I really just put because if I gave one away, I wanted to have one up for sale too. So I put it in my buy it now section on Whatnot for $15. No one ended up showing interest in the purse, so I figured I would just go ahead and list it on Poshmark, but I ended up putting it in my Whatnot show. It was that same raid train where I sold the Kate Spade sunglasses. I started the bid at $5, which was a little bit of a risk because of course I was starting the bid lower than what I paid for the item. So I was kind of afraid that I would lose money, but I was very happy to see someone bid it all the way up to $21. And I will say real quick that I could consider this a BOLO style and I guess a BOLO brand because not only did it sell on Whatnot, I also forgot to delist it on Poshmark after it sold. So it ended up selling also for $28 in discounted shipping on Poshmark. Of course, I did not have the purse in my possession and the other one had been given away, so I had to cancel the order. That is something that I have always struggled with, and now when I sell something on Whatnot, I immediately go to Poshmark and my other platforms and delist that item from every platform that it's listed on to avoid making this mistake again. But like I said, I feel like I can confidently say that this is a BOLO style because not only did it sell once, it sold again on Poshmark. So obviously there was a lot of interest in it, and it ended up selling within about 2 weeks of listing on Poshmark. And after fees and cost of goods, I made a quick $10.37 on Whatnot for this purse. All right, we have now gone over my best, worst, and quickest sales from the last 2 weeks. I want to apologize for kind of zooming through these last few sales, but hopefully you guys still got some sort of value out of this video. Hopefully by next week I will not be as congested and I can have a much better video. But I want to make sure that I am still producing content for you every week because you guys have stuck around on my YouTube channel since August of 2021. So I've been on here for over a year and a half, and I really do appreciate all of the support. Obviously, my channel would not be where it is today without all of you guys liking and commenting and subscribing to my channel. And I want to make sure that I'm producing good, valuable content for you all. So thank you so much for always supporting my channel. And that is all that I have for you all today. So now that we're at the end of this video, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you for the next video.